It worked.
Did it work? Are we
It
live?
did.
Yes, we are live. What's going on, Rippa fans and Rippa fam? And Andrew and the Duchess of the Dirty Deeds here with another fun behind the scenes kind of sort of stream thing in the bob that we do here at the Rippaverse every now and then called the Rippaverse Roundtable. We've got a fun one for you guys tonight. We're also purportedly, allegedly, going to be joined by the illustrious illustrator Kanan White at some point this evening, hopefully soon. He's doing family stuff first. He did threaten us with his presence. I would have been scared, except for Kanan's like kind of the sweetest guy on the planet, so it's kind of hard to feel scared of.
Kanan's like a bear. I like he looks cuddly and stuff. I'm pretty sure if I got between him and his kids, he'd kill me.
I mean, but that's different, right? Like that's when you start putting offspring kind of into the equation. I think everybody has the ability to like anamorph into something vicious.
Yeah, but I mean, like he would Super Saiyan out. Like, I'm absolutely serious.
Probably.
Yeah.
But now I'm just picturing him with like a crackling gold like goatee, because that's
that
where
would actually be really cool.
That's where that would reside.
You need some maybe fan art of Kanan Super Saiyan.
I need somebody to draw Super Saiyan Kanan White now. That I kind of need that in my life. I feel like that's a need. But welcome in, everybody. Thank you for being here. We've got Sir Bookstage. We've got Cos Mortal Comics. What's going on? I see you all the time in Comics and Everything's chat. We got Mustafa in here. We got Atomic Patriot. What's going on, man? I know I got to get with you about the For the Homies podcast.
A fine group they are.
A fine group, yeah. A fine group. You've been on there a couple of times. They're good people. They're good people. We got Mads Duck in here.
Mads Duck.
Phenomenal illustrative talent, whom I have commissioned a few times. We got Emily Kruger. Good to see you, my friend. Emily. I hope you are doing lovely. Fantastic supporter of everything that we do here. So yeah, guys, it's been a month, man. Like, this new solicitation deal we're doing is it's doing a lot. A lot of things are going on. We've got a lot going on.
There were so many right now that if we tried to play all the intros, we would. Andrew and I could just leave. We could. Just,
I was gonna say, like, we could just fill in the back. Like, I could be catching up on my Nikkei dailies, and which I'd yet to do. Yeah, we could just let those run for the entirety of the usual hour and a half or so that we go for the show, because we've just got that many things up for pre-order right now, which is kind of crazy. And a lot of the ones that you guys are waiting on in terms of being fulfilled, those are now starting to go out. Bloodroot 2 just started fulfilling today, right? Or Friday?
Friday.
Yeah, Friday. So a lot of people
that had books already.
Yeah, you guys are gonna have to let us know. Tag us on all the socials, and tag us in Discord if you're part of the Discord. If you're not, you should be. Get with the program.
We do have threads in there dedicated for you guys to just discuss books and spoilers and stuff like that. Yeah,
we do, because we know that you guys actually want to discuss these books and these characters, these storylines, theorize and all that. And Twitter just ain't the place for it, because nobody on Twitter wants to have an honest discussion. Discord's better for that. And you guys have made that very clear that that's your go-to hangout for those types of discussions, because you've been incredibly active in those. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say.
I will remind everybody that as Black Eye Club and Curse come out, there is still a point system in effect, everyone. There's still a point system.
There is.
Yes. So
the who wins doesn't end until after y'all have gotten your hands on and rated part 2.
Yeah, so if you write a review and I get my hands on it, that's 2 points. If you do a video review, that is 5 points.
Indeed.
So I take both. I'm just letting you know that moving pictures gets more than the written word.
It does, because we want to reward the extra effort and time that it takes to do the video stuff.
A selfie view with the book gets 1 point. So
okay, I'm good for 1 point. I can do that.
Yeah.
So yes, please, and remember that if you do video reviews, you do have a chance of ending up on one of our review compilation videos. So our team is actually currently working on a bunch of review compilation videos for various books, and those will be starting to post over the weekends going forward. So it's kind of not to disrupt our usual flow of content that we put out there. I might drop one during the week here and there, but the weekends tend to do best for that sort of content. Whereas the during the week stuff is like we're trying to remind people, hey, we have stuff and things.
Yeah, I have stuff
going
and I have so many stuff and things that I'm running out of time slots
You
to post.
specifically
Yeah.
have so many stuff and things. Carol's like, yeah, I see Chuck over there with 1.5 billion books already done. I see the Saskas over there with 1.5 billion books already done. You know what? I can do that too. And so now, Carol's got Dirty Deeds 1 and 2. She's got Smuggler's Stitch. You're very cool.
I'm trying to be spingy right now with this crochet. I don't know if you guys have noticed.
I'm seeing that. I am seeing that.
I made myself
I'm
a
here for
promise.
it.
Yeah, I made myself a
Oh,
promise.
did you?
Yeah, that I was gonna do like one of these like little succulents a day, and I haven't started it because here's what happened, guys. I did this thing. So I time traveled today. Andrew calls them a nap, but I time traveled because I closed my eyes and I was in the future. It was great.
The first time that happened, was that before or after your first surgery? I can't remember.
I think that was after my first surgery.
And you're like, Carol sends me a DM or a text. I can't remember which. She's like, Andrew, I have to tell you something. And I'm like, what? She's like, I time traveled. And I was like, what do you mean? And then she described it. And she described it as such, which was, I closed my eyes. I was no longer conscious. And then when I opened them, it was the future. And I said, Carol, that's a nap.
Time travel sounds cooler. Okay.
Time travel does sound cooler. Like, it's true. Like, my version of it's kind of lame, even if it is technically accurate. Yours is way better. And rule of cool always wins. Yeah. So, props to you.
So anytime you guys want to sound like you're cool instead of saying I need a nap, just say you have to time travel. That's what you should do. Great icebreakers.
And you could, if you want extra points with me, you could even preface it with Great Scott. I have to time travel. Mm-hmm. So, that now that's extra points right there. But yeah, we have so many things up for pre-order right now. It's too many to list, but the most recent ones are pretty exciting. We've got Stephanya, Florida's Finest by the Saskas. So this is going to follow Stephanya in a solo book. So this is going to be her first time kind of on her own. And it's a really interesting, really fun script. I think you guys are going to see Stephanya fleshed out a lot more, as opposed to just kind of being a side character. In Yaira's stories, this is her kind of being able to do her own thing. The artist that we have for this book is really, really good. So I'm excited for you guys to see that once we start sharing some. I know that a lot of people, I know there's an adjustment thing going on right now. So when we shifted from the kind of campaign/collection format to our new solicitation format, we aren't sharing preview pages nearly as often, but I'm going to try and make a habit of sharing some of those periodically. I know we have some for some books, like we got some for Smuggler's Stitch. And those pages look
pretty good.
Pretty awesome.
I heard some guy named Igor did them. He seems okay.
He seems all right. Yeah. He washes his hair, which I appreciate. That's more than I could say for like Leon.
Don't be mean to Leon. He's a nice guy.
Leon. I love Leon. No homo, but I love Leon. He's great. But yeah, him and Pedro's colors on his lines, those panels look beautiful. But I'm going to try and start putting together some more pages for you guys to see in terms of preview pages. Those aren't likely going to go up on the website. Those will be posted on social media. And I might share them in the Discord as well. But don't expect those to go up on the website because the format that we're running with just that's not what we're doing.
Not that friendly anymore, yeah.
Yeah. So it's very minimalistic on there. So we just focus all of our time on actually getting the books into y'all's hands. The other one that I'm really excited for, and I think those of you who read Norfolka, Glorious Death #1 and really enjoyed that will be very excited to read this, Twin Tricks.
Oh, I wrote that one.
You did write that one.
I did. I was there for that, yeah.
You Presumably.
Yes.
Presumably so. You were there for that
I
one.
thought you were about to talk about like Norfolk Glorious Death Part 2.
Well,
I was like,
Glorious Death Part 2 is up for pre-order. And so you guys that enjoyed Part 1 should absolutely be pre-ordering that one if you haven't. This is now going to shift the focus from Asgarth over to Niandala, which is where, we get to learn more about Takari and his people. And that's going to be super exciting because I think, ironically enough, I think that's what people were most excited for.
mhm,
Because look, there's no shortage of takes on Norse mythology, right? Because
mhm.
it's cool. Everybody knows it's cool. And so you can do different things with it, but ultimately it's Norse mythology and everybody's seen it in some shape or form. This is Eric leaning into something that he talked about for years on his YouTube channel when he was talking about, various things that the mainstream would do when it comes to changes they'd make to Norse mythology characters instead of actually capitalizing on the vast wealth of African mythos that is available to them. Eric decided to do that. You guys are going to actually finally get your hands on that. That's going to be something exciting for you.
I saw the opening pages. They look pretty hot.
The pages are pretty rad. I'm
Mhm.
not going to lie. I'm
No
not going to
words
lie. And
needed, only pictures.
yeah,
Mm.
and shout out to Marcos for the design of the female who is gracing cover C for
Mhm.
Norfolk Glorious Death #2. Um, I'm about it. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm here for it. But Twin Tricks, Caro, we have the writer of Twin Tricks here. Tell us about Twin Tricks for those who might not have enough of an idea of what it is about and what it is and its purpose, just based on like the little snippets that are on the website. Give us
Oh.
some insight into that.
Well, it all started when I went into Eric's DM and I was kind of like, I want to tell this story. And he was like, for what age group? And I was like, what age group do you want it? And of course, he was like, what about for kids? I was like, kids would be perfect, right? Because we're making more kid content. And so the story I wanted to make was about two brothers that basically get into all kind of hijinks and then the consequences of those hijinks and just like how far we could push it. I will say that there is somebody in the Discord that picked up on something immediately and asked me about it. He's very smart. He knows his mythology very well. And if he decides to disclose that to everybody else, that's up to him about the twins. But I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. I just wanted to make something that was just fun for families and children, and make it stand on its own so that way you don't have to read everything to enjoy it. So
Mhm.
that was my big goal with that. And for the most part, I guess I also kind of wanted to break up like our house style a little bit because we always have like these super serious, like grim, dark death book things. And I'm kind of like, how about some happiness? And here, have a joke. And here's some fun over here. Let's all go play over here for a little bit.
Caro's taking a page out of my book.
Yeah, it's like there's like death and grimness everywhere. Let's have some fun, guys. Let's have some fun.
I like that. I really like that. And guys, this story is actually really fun. So I did say that if you read Norfolk Glorious Death #2 and that corner of our universe is something you're super invested in and interested in, that this is absolutely for you. But even if you have not read those, like Caro just said, this is one of those books that does stand on its own. And you can just read it as its own fun story. And hopefully that makes you interested in the other stuff that's kind of circling it. Right. That's always kind of part of the goal. But it absolutely stands on its own. You don't have to have read anything else in our universe in order to understand what's going on. It has other characters that are important in our universe, but they exist only as far as they need to in that story because the focus is on these twin brothers, and it's a really fun script.
Yeah,
I cackled quite a few times while I
I
was
gave
reading
the
it.
synopsis to Andrew, and he was like, "I want to read it now." And I was like, "Well, good, because I need you to edit it now, because
Oh,
apparently it's going into production. Here you go."
then she threw the script itself at me. I was like, oh, yay! Now I get to actually read it. And yeah, it's a ton of fun, guys. This is absolutely a worthwhile book. This is one of those things where we get to play around with something different, and that's important for us to do, especially if we're going to continue to grow our audience and bring in new viewers, new readers. Twin Tricks is a really good opportunity for that. So those of you that have kids, this is actually just a fun story that they could enjoy. I know there are plenty of people out there that are probably parents and like they're like, yeah, give my whatever 10-year-old or 11-year-old ISOM, and that's perfectly fine. And that probably is for the most part. Or a few of our other offerings. Maybe not so much Blood Earth or the villain books. But you're grown. I'm not your real mom. You do what you want. But this book, absolutely.
One of the things that I liked when Eric was talking to me about the book, he was like, "Do you have an artist in mind for this book?" And I was like, "No, like you can put whoever you want on it. That's cool." And he was like, "Okay, we're gonna put Eric Nieltowski on it." I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah. When I found that out, I was like, "What? Really? Like
that's really cool."
She's really good, guys. If I know that the pre-order campaign on Rippaverse is over, but those of you who pre-ordered Shadow Century, you're in for a treat. That book is beautiful.
It's such a good book.
I've read through it multiple times after finishing like my edits and proofs on the PDF for it, because it's kind of my kind of jam in terms of the era of comics that it hails from. So absolutely look forward to that. Eric Nieltowski is a super talented artist. A really nice guy, a very creative guy. So you guys should be looking forward to this one as well, for sure. Gosh, what else do we have going on for pre-order right now?
We have so many things on pre-order.
Oh, I guess I did a thing, didn't I?
Yeah, you did like this thing too.
I did a thing.
It's got like a Boy Scout in it, I think.
He is kind of the Boy Scout. He is kind of the Boy Scout. Zephyr is meant to embody everything that I love and appreciate about superheroes, which is the golden heart, the kind of Boy Scout thing, the naivety that can come along with that too, because you can't just have somebody that they want to do the right thing all the time, but they also end up making the correct decision all the time. That doesn't make for an interesting character, right? You have to sometimes pair the right heart with the wrong choices that stem from having that good heart, right? Because you can have a lot of fun with that. Yeah, and
my favorite part was when first it was like, "Andrew, your series got greenlit," and he was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I was like, "Yeah, so we're launching book 1 tomorrow."
Yeah. I gotta tell y'all, I have never been more thankful that I wrote ahead.
Yeah.
As I am right now. Because when it got brought up to me, like, "Hey, yeah, we're putting this is actually on the 2026 calendar." I was like, "Oh, like the first 3 issues of this are actually on our calendar now, on our release calendar." I'm like, and I'm looking at the spreadsheet, because we're all about spreadsheets over here.
I love spreadsheets. I love that Eric has spreadsheets now. You have no idea. It like makes me like.
The second Eric started making spreadsheets, Caro looked so happy.
I was so happy. I had answers to questions I didn't even know I had.
Did. I know. Great. It was wild. Even I was thrilled about it, because I was like, Caro's less stressed, so now I'm less stressed. And I remember looking at the, because we have different dates and things on there in the various columns, right? And so one of them is like, this is when the script needs to be in for this. And I was like, I'm ahead of the game. I'm done.
You're like, I already met my deadline.
My job is done. What's a deadline? Ain't nobody got nothing.
I'm so fast, I was done with the deadline before the word was invented.
Right. So I was super, super happy about that. But yeah, you guys have had a fantastic response to Arcstream Fall Start, the first arc for Zephyr's story. I'm incredibly excited about this, because I think I kicked off a younger hero's journey in a way that we haven't seen before. Not that I can think of anyway. And I've read a lot of teen heroes, because those are the kind of characters I gravitated towards when I was a kid. So I think people are going to have fun with this one. I think they're going to be surprised by some of the choices made. There's a lot of fun stuff. I can't wait for you guys to see some of the characters that I
Look how excited he is, guys. Look at him.
I am excited.
Look how excited.
My kid made it, right? I've got some beautiful covers. by incredibly talented artists, Ricardo Cecchi and freaking Sebastian Chang on cover A, right? Sebastian Chang, for those of you guys who don't recognize the name, he did the remasters and of 1 and 2, and then the colors for Ice on 3. He also colored my favorite run on Batman Beyond over at DC. So there's that. Cover B, Ricardo Jaime and Candace Hahn, who is also an amazing colorist.
Mm-hmm.
Yevgeny Sokolov and Andrew Dahlhaus on cover C, my all-time favorite comic colorist. No disrespect to anybody else. I love all the other colorists we work with, but I've been
You
a
just have
fan
a
of
favorite. It's okay.
I've been a fan of Dahlhaus's for gosh, coming on close to probably 2 decades or something like that. A long time. I love his work so much. And he's coloring the interiors of the book, guys. I cannot wait to showcase some preview pages for y'all. Like I'm really excited for you guys to see what Lee Sands, our Rippafest winner, one of our Rippafest winners, and him cook up. He may have received extra points from Caro because he did Horseman.
Always.
So incredibly talented. And then cover D, obviously, Megan Mushi and Marcos Martin is one of our
Okay, we have to
most
talk about
consistent
Megan
colors.
Mushi. We have to talk about Megan Mushi.
Let's do it. Let's talk about Megan Mushi.
Megan Mushi is extremely talented and it has a very unfortunate surname because Mushi in Japanese means fungus. So every time I hear Megan Mushi, I'm always like Megan Fungus. Like that's like,
oh no.
Yeah. So it's always like I can't unsee it because it's like one of those things that when you learn another language and then you start seeing like that language and like other things,
Yeah.
it's like that's unfortunate. Like I'm really sorry. It's like when you meet somebody and their last name is Gay, and it's like I'm really sorry for you and everything that's led you up to this moment where we're meeting right now.
Like there's a really talented image artist, Raymond Gay. He's incredible. Like his art is mind blowing. Like it's like Kanan. And speaking of Kanan level detail, what's up, Mr. Talented Illustrator?
We talked about you going Super Saiyan and your goatee going gold.
Yeah. Now I'm just picturing Super Saiyan 3 Kanan is just like his goatee is golden and crackling and it's like down to his belly, right?
I rock with it.
He's got like Gandalf level beard, but it's just the goatee.
There you go. How you doing?
You're good.
Oh, we're doing great, man. We're doing great. And we got Lauren Connor in the chat. What's going on, Lauren? Lauren is always over on the Pro Show.
Hello,
very
Lauren.
frequently over on the Pro Show, which actually I'm going to be on the Pro Show this Wednesday evening, I think is what Kara said. Yeah.
I'm going to have to take your word for it. I wasn't there.
Yeah. I'll have to double check my DMs with Kara, but I'm pretty sure she said, yeah, so you want to be on Wednesday night? I'm like, yes.
Sure.
Oh, look, it's Philip. Philip's here. Hello,
hey, what's
Philip.
up, Philip? Another talented Rippafest winner. He is the illustrator behind Hellbound Stagecoach, written by the Saskas. You guys wanted a Western in the Rippaverse, and the Saskas were like, bet.
Man, Philip was like the first one I went to for that too, because it was like as soon as I saw that script and then I saw Philip was like first place winner, I was like straight into his DMs being like, I need you.
You were like, hey. Right now. You're like, hey there.
There's a lot of other artists I could talk to, but I want to talk to you.
Yeah. I mean, he's been doing so much like fan art for us for so long. We have so many talented artists. And freaking, we got Roberto Villacava here in the chat. He's done so much fantastic work.
How dare you?
And I think he was also one of our sequential winners for Rippafest as well. So, guys, keep an eye out for the people who were winners of the various contests in the Rippaverse contest, because those are some talented people,
indeed,
and we want to give them some work to showcase their talents.
Okay, so before we go on talking about the big event of Exclave, I have a question for us all, including the chat. You may participate should you decide to.
Chat participation.
All right, guys, outside of your own books, which book are you excited to come out that we've released so far?
Oh man.
as far as the one that we're most looking forward to actually getting in our hands and reading in its full, complete, physically.
I know you and I have read. I know you and I read the script, but still, like actually having it and like reading it. Yeah.
Yeah. I got you. Okay, Kanan, you first, brother.
Oh, let me see here. Trying to think of everything, as we got so many things now.
Yeah, for sure. We do. We were just talking about that. If we had full-blown trailers for everything, we could just let the trailers play and that would be its own stream.
Yeah, we could just leave.
We could all just sit in the back, sipping on a sweet tea or something,
I would say one of them, Stephanya, because I'm just curious, one unpacking her story. She's been the short end of the stick so many times, sometimes even the butt of the jokes. But actually, like, seeing her character fleshed out is going to be pretty awesome. And then also seeing what Florida looks like in our universe.
Yeah.
So as we kind of expand out, from just being in Forest Park, there's, I know the story that's coming out in the Rippaverse 6, I believe, kind of alludes to another area, where it's a little bit more aggressive, kind of the aftermath of some things that have gone on. And so it's interesting to kind of see the rest of the world. So definitely that one. And then, man, I'm trying to think of all the other ones. Jeez. Stagecoach, because I like my westerns, man, but I'm curious to see how this Sasuke spun the story, which is going to be pretty interesting. Dang. Dude, like there's I would say those two that I can think of. Oh yeah, yep. Somebody mentioned it, but definitely Arcstream. Yeah, I want to see kind of how, like, where his story goes, from his, I guess you want to say his freshman outing, to, now he's like full-fledged, integrated, with the, the updates and advancements and stuff of his technology and things like that. So that, dang, I would say those are probably the three that I can think of offhand. I know there's so many, man, that I'm missing. That
well, we only have a couple of books going on right now, right? So
yeah, I was thinking like I'm trying to think of the list.
We got like
things.
a dozen things.
Like, I have to scroll. I have to scroll through solicitations now. I'm like, oh, what a problem
crazy.
to have.
Yeah, it's like,
right?
I'm trying to, like,
it's a blessing. It's a great problem to have.
It is a good problem.
That's only because you guys are so supportive of everything that we do. It's only because you guys were so hyped after reading the Dirty Deeds Skip the Hard Part short in Zine 3 that it got greenlit that freaking fast. And then we were like, okay, let's get issue 1 going, right? It just got a full ongoing, right? And we're already on issue 2 right now. You guys are going to be receiving issue 1 really, really soon.
It's only because of you guys' crazy support.
Yeah.
So when they see Carol's like,
absolutely. Absolutely. You guys
should have seen me in the chat. I like went into the chat. I was like, guys, look at my baby. Look at it. Beautiful. And then when the book launched, I went to my husband. I was like, babe, I had twins. And he was like, congratulations.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys allow us to do all this cool stuff. Zine 5 being our first book to sell out of both covers.
Yeah, what's that like? I still can't order your book, and I work here.
I know. I had. So I was like, I put out a post on Twitter saying, hey, like, now that my book's launched or whatever, I'm back from a little trip. Like, I'm happy to do interviews, talk comics, talk Arcstream, talk Rippaverse, talk whatever, right? And I've got people asking me like, hey, how can I order your book? And I'm like,
I can answer all questions but that question.
I was like, awkward. There are no books. It's gone. But that's only because you guys were so freaking supportive. The one that I'm looking most forward to. Okay, yeah, this is the easy answer, but okay, so I have 2 answers. I have the easy answer, and then I have another answer that's also kind of easy. The easy answer is Dirty Deeds, because my cover C has girlfriend in all of her girlfriend glory.
Of course.
Good job, Ridlin. Good job. I'm proud of you.
Oh man. Like, I love Ridlin. And the other being Great War of Separation 3 and 4. I'm gonna kind of like pair those together just because like actually having that like as the full series is gonna feel really good. Because while Exclave, which we'll talk about momentarily, is our first like current day crossover event, Great War of Separation is kind of our first event. It kind of acts as our first event, and it's like a prequel event that sets up our universe, right? And I think there's just so much good stuff in that series. And it's Chuck, and I'm an unapologetic Chuck Dixon fanboy, so there's that. So that's me.
That's fair. I don't want to surprise you, but it's actually not going to be Hector this time that I'm most looking forward to. I know.
You lie. I don't believe you. I literally don't believe you.
Okay, so
Hector adjacent.
If it makes you feel any better, every time Joe turns in a new page and there's a nice panel, I just screenshot the panel and it goes into the folder. It's called Happy Place. And when I'm feeling sad, I go to my Happy Place and I go through the pictures and I'm happy again. Okay, but anyway, no, I'm actually really excited for the Stephanya story, mostly because I think she's lived in the shadow of other characters for a long time. And so I think it's good for her to go out into a new place and do her own growing that way. So I think like with the way that the twins wrote the outline for this book, I thought it was pretty powerful. So I'm really looking forward to it coming out. And then the other one that I'm actually looking forward to, and this might surprise some people, but I'm actually looking forward to Saoirse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think that should surprise anybody. I mean, it's Saoirse. It's a hot redhead with guns. And it's being drawn by Kanan and colored by Marcos Martin. So well,
I just know Kanan has been so excited to do the interiors.
Yes.
Like it was like watching him. He was like, I'm ready. Like let's go. And then he got pages and he was like, I'm going. He was gone.
And then Kanan turned into the speedster. He's like, see you bye.
Man, I mean, dude, it's I want to do so many things, man, with this ongoing, man. Like, as long as I'm able to do it, man. Like I want to, I was telling Marcos specifically because there's a certain way he colors when he approaches like the line art and everything. I was like, for when you color my stuff, I was like, I really want the black line art to show through. Don't color lock it like you usually do. I was like, I want to give people that 90s, complete 90s kind of Top Cow, kind of vibe, man. And so
when you're really getting into the digital coloring age.
Yes.
Yeah.
And man, like just some of the pages that I've seen,
they look really good.
Yeah, they do. I was just like, bro, you get it. So yeah, I'm still jockeying for that page where people got to turn the book. And it's a pinup action type thing like they used to do in the 90s, man. That was so epic, man. That's kind of the way I want to do. Like I really want to show people Saoirse, one of the things that she is efficient. So anything and everything that she does is never a waste. Like I don't know, the people who've read the first story about her, like when she fights, like her fighting style, I don't even know if you can coin it, but it's almost reactive. So almost like she kind of anticipates what the other person is doing. So there's a scene where the individual attacks her, man, and so immediately it's not just blocks, but it's like block strike. Like it's like tap, 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 tap. So everything's like fast. Have you ever seen that movie Raid Redemption? Raid the Redemption and Raid Redemption 2. Her style is very, very quick, very lethal, very efficient. She's not a brawler, but it's like, okay, how can I end this quick? Because I gotta go to the next thing. So there's no wasted movements, there's no wasted energies, no wasted time. So being able to actually show that is going to be people are in for a treat, man. They're actually going to be able to see her fight, not just saying, oh, I punch in the next panel and rah, and then it's over. No, dot wrap ups, flips, tosses, all that stuff. I want to show all that. So, it's exciting. So thank you, Carol. I think you'll enjoy it.
I think I will. Mostly because I get to see your drafts. And I'm like, look at his drafts. His drafts are beautiful.
So beautiful, man. Like oh man, those pages are gorgeous. You guys are in for a treat. I say that with almost everything that we put out, but like this Kanan is putting a lot of effort behind his pencils for this book. And it's a short list, the number of colorists that like Kanan will just like vocally praise and be excited about them coloring his work. Marcos Martins is one of them.
Yes, he is.
And so like when
Candace is the other. Shout out to Candace.
Oh man.
Candace is quickly becoming beast mode. So if you're watching
Candace,
you're awesome.
Candace is so good. Like when I flipped my lid when I saw that she colored my cover B. And just nice, the glow and everything. I'm like, oh man, like I love when she colors your stuff, whether it's on a cover or a t-shirt or something. Like she and Marcos Martins and a couple other guys really understand how to work with your detailed rendering and not lose the detail in the rendering when coloring. Because some colors will like, you can tell that they're even like brushing over some of the black lines with their colors, right? And so it's less hard black. And you're like, you're losing some of the finer detail there. And for some people, they're fine with that. They like that style. But I don't know. I like still seeing the hard lines of the line artists. And I like when there's this proper kind of collaboration between the line artists and the colorists. And Marcos Martins and Candace really know how to bring that out. And Andrew Dollhouse being another one, right? Like his colors on like the poster for Zephyr that you did for me, like
amazing.
Incredible. So good choice, Carol. Saoirse is a fine choice.
A very fine choice.
A very fine choice.
And she's a beautiful redhead. Hey, come on.
Yes. So nobody can really be mad.
With guns.
Yeah.
With
like
guns.
who's really going to blame you for that?
Yes,
right?
we like redheads with guns.
I'm here for it. I support it.
I gotta save the redheads, guys. Disney's trying to take them out. We gotta bring them back.
We're here for that. We're here for that. I actually saw. It's funny. I saw a post from, I think it was from like New York Post this afternoon that said like there's a massive boom in gingers right now, a massive boom in redheads, and I quote retweeted it and I said, unless you're Disney or Netflix.
I mean, it's true though.
That's tough.
All right, let us move on to
the
main event. We are doing our first crossover, guys. Our first crossover. Now, I have to be honest with everyone. I read comics, but I am not a comic connoisseur like some of the people who are in the chat and on the panel. So let us discuss the history of these mega events. How did they come to be?
Man, so comic book publishers, specifically the big two, have been like doing, little team ups of some of their big characters for ages and ages, since like the 60s or even before then, like the 50s. But the first true, what we would consider the actual inception of the true line-wide crossover would be in 1985 over at DC, and that would be Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that event came out of a number of things. Part of it was that like they had kind of let their continuity get out of control with all the multiverses and stuff. They're like, hey, let's reset that. But without going too far into that, that was the big event where everybody got involved. Every book was involved. Every character was involved. You saw characters that you hadn't seen in decades, and had major implications for their publishing line for years. And it is looked at as kind of one of the biggest, most important moments in comic book history because it introduced this idea of the line-wide crossover, right? And everybody likes seeing their favorite characters kind of like team up, now and again. It's the reason why people love the Avengers, or the Justice League, right? Or whatever other teams out there that are made up of characters that each individually already stand on their own and have their own thing. But now it's like, oh, now I get to have this character that I love and this character that I love in the same book, right? Like that's exciting, right? That builds hype. And that's something that Eric has been very careful about how he wants to handle here at the Rippaverse, because the fact of the matter is, when you do these kind of large crossovers, you introduce just as many problems or potential problems at the very least as you create enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, example, you can have a book, let's say it's Alpha Core, right? And you've got Brian Solari, you got Braxwell, you got Ingrid. 3 already they're veteran characters. They know what they're doing. Brian is one of the strongest characters in our current universe, right? They can tackle a threat, right? And then you add in another character that is also strong or incredibly skilled, right? It could be in any number of things. Let's say it's Horseman, or maybe it's Avery, or whatever, right? You add in them, and those are characters that also handle these other threats that are at a certain level on their own. Well, now in order for you to justify bringing those characters together, that means it has to be a threat that none of them could have handled on their own.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to create a situation in which whatever the villain is, none of these characters can handle it on their own. They need help. And that's a big deal, right? That's something that should be handled carefully because you ratchet up your threat level. When you ratchet up your threat level, well, presumably your heroes are going to win in the end, right? And so that means they need to be able to overcome said threat level. Well, that means that you also just ratcheted up your power scaling.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful about how you handle these things. Otherwise, it kind of gets out of control. And then you end up having things where it's like, well, the next storyline doesn't feel that impactful because
you gotta one up it, man.
The threat isn't. It's not Thanos
you have
anymore,
the Dragon
right?
Ball Z problem. It's like, oh man, we just saved the city. Now we have to save the continent. Now we just saved the continent. Now we have to save the world. Now we have to save the planet. We saved the planet. Now we have to save the universe. Now we have to save Goddamn.
Yeah, right. Like we just beat Frieza, who had power level 1 million, right, or whatever. And it's like, wow, he's the strongest thing. Well, we beat him. So now what? Right. Well, now we got to come up with somebody that's 5 million. Right. And so you got to be careful with your pacing on that kind of a thing. Otherwise, it gets out of hand. It's really easy to let that get onto the hand because people like seeing cool stuff.
Yeah.
You have to be able to pace yourself. And so Eric has been very insistent on the pacing with which we build towards this event. And this event primarily involves very specific characters. And I think it's being handled very well, not only within the core event itself, but also the kind of tie-ins that are happening around it in a way that actually works, actually makes sense, and makes it such that we're not just going from 0 to Mach 5 in our power scaling, right? Because that's dangerous. And that's the thing that, for me, as somebody who reads new comic books every single week, it's hard to not feel apprehensive about that on paper. Like if I didn't already have access to these scripts and the breakdowns and things like that, and outlines, and know the quality and the care that was being handled with all of these, it'd be hard to not worry, because events are the things that really get out of hand very quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of how we're handling it so far. So props to Eric for being very intentional and very patient with how he's handling this buildup. And this buildup, I would encourage everyone to, both right before you get your hands on, say, Exclave issue 0 and the eventual issues that happen thereafter, and after getting your hands on those and reading those, go back and reread the titles of the characters that are involved in the main event, because this is all building. And that's my favorite kind of storytelling, right? Where you can then, I love when authors lay breadcrumbs. That's my favorite type of long form storytelling. Like it's no secret to anybody, I'm a big Harry Potter fan. And
I just thought those were like things you use to turn the TV on and off.
Yeah. And so something Rowling did was lay breadcrumbs very early on, that if you go back, I'm not talking about the movies, I'm talking about the books. You go back after finishing the whole series and then you do a reread, you're like, oh my gosh, like these things that don't pay off until book 6 or 7
Yeah.
These got laid in book 1 and 2.
Yep.
Right? Or hinted at. Like that. I love that kind of long form storytelling. And that's something that I'm really proud to be a part of. Yeah.
I mean, when it happens organically, man, that's when you get the best payout, because it's not like, it doesn't feel like it's forced. Like you said, everything's been kind of alluded to and hinted to early on, and like you said, you go back and you see the clues, and you're like, man, that so nothing is done unintentionally. It's done with a purpose. Somebody's cameo. This person shows up. This person, this happens, and then this happens, and then this person connects to this person, and all of a sudden you're like the massive reveal. In these Exclave books, you're like you said, you can actually trace the paper trail, back to ISOM 2, or Gooding, and his his communication with Bloodruth, and her story, and and you're like, oh man, like that's pretty dope. So yeah.
I'm pretty excited for the event for no reason at all.
Oh no. Okay. Wow. I'm not even gonna dignify that with a direct response.
I'm very excited. I got a writing assignment related to it, and you should have seen, like, you guys know like those gifs with like the anime eyes where they get big and the sparkles, and then they're running around in circles. That was me. Wow. And then that was me, like, in the chat with everybody being like, guys, look what I get to do this. And then they're like, are you done yet? I was like, no, I'm so happy.
I'm excited and happy for you. And I think once everybody learns what it is that you're excited and happy about, they too will share in the excitement and the happiness.
Indeed.
Kanan, you've been part of this crew in some form or fashion, kind of from the very beginning. I think if there was one piece of art in the Rippaverse that was more important than anything else, it's ISOM 1 cover A.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because that was the first thing that people saw outside of the logo, right? Like, people saw the teaser thing that had the Rippaverse logo, and then the next thing was, the true full launch of the company and ISOM 1, right?
Yep.
Cover A. What is it like having been there? It was a different capacity at the time, but that one contribution, and all of a sudden now, 3.5 years, gosh, it's going to be 4 years and 2 months, guys, or 3 months. Like, that's wild. Going from that to where we are now we built towards this massive, crossover event. Our first year, we only put out ISOM 1. It was what, 11 months later we put out ISOM 2, and then it was another 4 months or something like that we put out Alpha Core 1, and then another 3 or 4 months we put out Yara 1, and then another 2 months we put out Gooding, right? And then it started ramping up from there. And now this year, I've lost count. I'm not the math guy. Like, Alex is the bean counter. I'm not counting. I'm not here. I'm not paid to count.
All I know is the joke that we made last year about us waking up and being like, I wonder what we're going to release today, has turned into a reality.
Yep.
It has turned into a reality. It used to be like we would have like 2-week notice and we were good. We'd get the copy and we'd start like the hype and we would do all these other things. And then it would be kind of like, okay, so we're launching this at 12. And I was like, I've never heard of this project before. Have you heard of this project before?
No, everybody's all of a sudden we're frantically DMing each other like, hey, do you know what the heck this is? Right? Well, shoot, for mine, Eric posts his recording for the solicitation video, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, cool, let's see what we're dropping this week, so that I can start trying to get together assets with our graphics team and all that, right? And then he drops the name of my book, and I'm like, oh, the who now?
Yeah, that's your book.
I'm like, come again? I'm like, this week?
Yeah.
So We are the Pivotverse.
Yeah, it's the Pivotverse.
We're the on your toes verse. It's exciting. There's never a dull moment here. That's for sure. It keeps you.
I like how shocked we still are, even though I have this beautiful spreadsheet. Like Eric continues to surprise because it's like, okay, I have the spreadsheet, I know exactly what's coming, and then it'll be another title, and I'll be like, I haven't heard of this title before. Yep. Like, Eric, did you just like magic it into existence?
My book was initially not for another few months.
The time was right.
The time was right.
The time was right.
Guys, the time is right is an inside thing. That is.
Yeah.
Eric, why are we dropping this right now? The time is right.
The time is right.
Okay, Eric.
I know. One day, like I know some of you in the chat are very talented artists. You would win major Caro Cootie points with me if you had a picture of Eric with his arms out being like, the time is right, and me behind him screaming, who is telling you the time?
And the light shine down.
Yeah. Who is it who's telling you the time? I need to know.
True. Who is the person telling you the time? They are not wearing the same watch that I am, nor are they in the same time zone, evidently.
I do want to say, like, when so I actually didn't know who Kanan was in the beginning because Kanan was working under a pen name. And so one time Eric was like, hey, I need you to email Kanan this question. I was like, okay. So I was going through his email trying to find Kanan, not knowing that you were going by a different name. And so I was like, am I retarded? Like, I can't find Kanan.
The alias days. Yeah, man. Still, hey, it's one of the things, man, just kind of, at the time, the climate we were in, man, I think it was warranted, but it was cool to finally just be,
just take the mask off and be like, it was me all along.
Like,
it was Kanan all along, right?
I mean, people still, even to this day, man, like, and not just Rippaverse, but it's like so for some people, man, they feel like I'm kind of like an urban legend because I don't do a lot of con type stuff, so they'll see the work before they ever see me. And most of the time it's been like that. So I always say I feel like I'm gonna be the guy that name's attached to a whole bunch of stuff. And people be like, who is it? Like, this dude's name is like on everything. And you're like, oh, okay. And then when you finally see him, they're like, oh, you're that one guy. Like, yeah, that's me. I've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
Your work is so iconic, though. I mean, take a look at like ISOM 2. We used literally your cover to make the statue.
Yeah.
Crazy.
What was that like?
That was crazy, man. Like
nobody told him either.
No.
Okay, no, it's like the book launched and he was like in my DMs being like, Caro, did you know? And I was like, I thought you knew. Like, did no one tell you?
Dude, it's an honor, man, like when you're able to see like your work kind of transcend being on the page to actually being like in 3D, three-dimensional space. Like it's one of them things, man, that just really, it does something, man. So, seeing the statue, seeing it, basically capture the same pose and the essence and vibe that I had, man, was just like, oh, okay. It was like that, it was an honor, man. Like I just, it was one of those things, man, where, to know that somebody loved it enough to actually make it something that not only they can read, but then they actually have a physical, visualization of it, man. So that's always that's cool.
I remember when that cover came in because Andrew, you and I were in the Airbnb watching Eric stream.
That's right.
Yeah, and so I was like, you should have seen me because I was sitting on like the couch with like the laptop, and I was like, Andrew, the cover has come in, it's sick as fuck. And he was like, let me see. And he like ran over and we looked at it. I was like, that's fucking sick. I was like, I'm fucking sick, man.
No, I mean, it's, you mentioned like, from the start to where it is now, like just to see like all the fresh talent, man, that's creating so many different, like covers coming in every day, man, with, so many different things. And, I always check the cover folder and it's like a new title added. I'm like, oh, okay, that's that. Oh, okay. But it's cool that, we, as a core set that groundwork and, paved the way. So now the thing that we're actually at a point now where there's actually like character history and background and references that people can actually, when you need to go with Horseman, now you can actually go and look at the other 3 books, kind of like see who the characters are, and Zaylin and Isom, and even a lot of the side characters. It's just like now we're taking all of that and really letting other creatives kind of bring their vision, not really vision, but their style to the characters, and really giving people such an array of talent and different looks for the same characters that everybody is used to seeing, and putting them in different stories. And like now these characters have life. They're no longer just concepts anymore. They're starting to become like household names, man. Like everybody knows who the Horseman is, and people know who Isom. Even the haters, people know who Isom is. They know what it stands for, and quality, and people that are fans of the Rippaverse, because that's who you create more content for in the first place. Not creating for the haters, but the fans actually have stuff that they can like refer to and go back and read. And now seeing these characters show up in the Exclave series that's about to take place, you're like, okay, now I know why. Like the characters won't feel unfamiliar because you're used to them. You know who they are now. You know who Blood Ruth is. Her lineage. What she does. Gooding. He's still kind of a mystery for a lot of people, but I think that works in his favor, man. He's kind of the I really enjoy like drawing Gooding. I realized that
I had a feeling. Yeah.
Well, I think you've said that he's kind of your favorite character.
He is,
right?
and it's like, Gooding to me is kind of like
he's Tony Stark without the narcissism, I think is what you said.
Yeah, he's kind of like I always relate to like one of my favorite characters in like the mainstream like DC and Marvel is I love Cloak and Dagger. I love Cloak and Dagger, and then Jubilee. Like I always felt like Jubilee, they could do more with her. Jubilee is like, she's actually a powerhouse, and she can do a lot of stuff. So, and I don't know why, it's like I always liked Jubilee. I always thought she was cool. And
I will say, I'm gonna let you finish. Are
Sorry, you good?
Kanye.
Okay.
Is this a nerd fight? Are you about to have a nerd fight?
No. I was gonna say, like, I've never been a fan of Jubilee personally, but
wait, you said you're gonna let him finish?
My co-host on my comic book stream that I do on Thursdays, Spencer, he's a massive Jubilee fan, and I sent him your piece that you did of Jubilee, and I think also, like, I forget the name of the colors, but somebody colored it as well and shared it, and I sent him that. He's like, this is the greatest Jubilee piece ever.
Now you can finish canon.
Now you may finish canon.
But no, I mean, it's one of the things like those he's just, there's something about Gooding, man. Like, I think I even told, I think I was even saying it like in the chat or something. I would love to play with his character. Like,
me too.
Really like do a lot of like the tech, because honestly, it's almost like there's really no limit to the things you can kind of show that he does as far as gadgets. He's got golems, and he's got drones, and he's got robot dogs, and he's got all these like different things, man, to help and assist with his quest. It was basically just to help people. But I want to also it's kind of weird. It's like, I want to break Gooding.
See, now you're exciting Caro.
See, Caro,
Kanan wants to give Gooding a bad day, so
dude,
now Caro's gonna
we should join forces.
Yes,
join forces.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I would love to like put him in a Court of Owls situation, where he's just like,
you got my attention.
See, I was telling Desmond, I was like, my son, I was like, for Gooding, you have to give him a situation where either outcome is right, but is it good? Like, so for example, I think in Dark Knight Returns, and how he was talking to Bruce Wayne. He was like, I'll even tell you where they are. You can either pick the warehouse or the thing. He's like, I'm not holding. I'm gonna let you know where they are. But depending on the situation you pick, both of them are gonna lose something. So it's almost like, do you choose the lesser evil? It's almost like you're giving Gooding a solution, but none of the solutions are good. But at the same time, if I don't do this one, it's going to be more detrimental. But if I do this one, it's still going to be detrimental, but it won't be as bad. So it's like putting Gooding, because Gooding is so smart. He's intelligent. Everybody, he's the guy that has the answer in the room. So you got to give him answers that he can't refute. But at the same time,
no, you have to give him answers that turn into his Achilles heel. That's what you need to do.
Yes.
You need to make the thing that he's good at be the thing that makes him weak. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
Good. Another example, Dr. Manhattan.
Not that anybody would let me write this story, but if they did, that's how I would do it.
Well, like
we need to be careful with the number of bad days for Rippaverse characters we allow Kara to have.
Yeah,
Wait,
our character roster will quickly diminish.
How many bad days have I actually done? I promise doing bad days, but how many have I actually done? Okay,
None
you know what?
yet.
The settlers in Ripazine 3 had a really bad day. Okay,
I mean, one of them kind of got impregnated by an alien wasp.
They just don't do consent. Okay, that race, they've got some stuff they're working through. There's some.
They don't need consent. They're the bee's knees.
Ah.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, you did that.
Yep, I did.
I think I wrote a bad day. Now I'm going through. Now you have me going through my solicitations real quick. Okay, first off.
Well, now while you do that, I'm going to quickly hit the super chats that we've had, because we have had some people show us some support here with their wallets, and we want to show appreciation to them. Swag TV Music for $5 says, "Will this be a smaller crossover in comparison? Seems like the world just started." I mean, smaller crossover in comparison to something like Crisis on Infinite Earths? Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a large crossover for the scale that we are currently at, if that makes sense, if that's helpful, right? We are scaling the crossover to the size that we have grown our universe thus far. So hopefully that helps and clarifies things a bit. This is not meant to be some universal, threat level, world breaking thing just yet. We're not there yet.
Right.
we're not there yet. Well, we can build towards that, and God willing, we'll be around for many years to be able to build towards that. But right now, it's a more focused event, but it's certainly bigger than anything we've done thus far. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. GDV for another $5 says, "Kane, do you still find time to create and dream up new Rippaverse ideas for the future, or has Eric drowned you in work yet?"
I mean, usually the ideas I come up with are the work that Eric gives me. So those anything I dream up is usually adjacent to the tasks at hand. So I guess I'm always creating and always dreaming up something, so it never really ends, which is a good thing. Keeps you fresh. Yeah. So
I think we could stand to have some Kane and White originals though.
Oh,
yeah.
Sure.
Maybe we talk. Maybe we collab. Maybe we knock our heads together.
I'm really good at bullying people.
You are fantastic.
I think you should bully about
as somebody
the frequently
on the receiving end of it. I can vouch for that. Room of requirement. Thank you, Mary. For $5, says, "I'm going to need someone to draw Caro as the white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland losing her mind looking at the pocket watch." The time is right. Who's telling you the time?
Who's telling you the time? Who is it? I just want to know.
Give me their name and address.
Yes.
Thank you, Mary. You guys are awesome. We appreciate you all in the chat so very much. Let's see. Let's address a couple more of these chats here. Harkin says, "Apart from pre-orders, remembered all that Rippaverse year 1 through 3 Omnibus is currently funding on the Rippaverse tab. If you want to catch up or for waiting, or both." Yes, we do have the Second Chance campaign happening right now for the year 1 through 3 Omnibus. This thing,
Trebuchet ammo.
Yeah, this is.
I want you guys to know
ammo.
that we're not supposed to be able to do this.
Yeah, I actually am one of the artificial accepts from the Great War of Separation. I'm just now coming out about that.
I just had chest
that's the
surgery.
only reason
I don't
I'm
want to
able
hear
to do
anybody's excuses.
Okay, fine. Like I can't say anything after that.
I just love it. It's like it's impossible to do that. I'm literally like healing from surgery. Anybody can do it. Shut up.
Yeah. Seriously. Unless you're like a 2-year-old.
I'm pretty sure they can do it too.
Or maybe a vegetable or something. I don't know. But yeah, guys, that is a great way to get caught up on our stories. I would highly encourage checking that out. If you missed out on the Rippaverse years 1 through 3 omnibus the first time around when we had the pre-order collection, we do have it on Rippaverse right now, which is our crowdfunding platform. So as long as we hit the threshold on there, all of those orders will be fulfilled. We'll print enough to fulfill those orders. And then you guys will be able to get your hands on it if you miss out. So yeah. It's a nice collector's item too.
I have 2, but I'm giving one to Jonas because Jonas missed out. So I'm actually going to meet him at the Southeast Game Convention. So I'm going to take that through.
What's that?
It's a convention that I said I was going to with Marv and that Park Place and everybody else.
Wow.
It's in South. Didn't I tweet it? I think you retweeted my tweet.
I probably did.
Did you just retweet my tweet without reading it?
It's automatic.
Maybe.
It's in July, and they invited me to come and hang out at the booth. So I was gonna go and hang out with them. Whether I'm going with Rippaverse stuff or not, I don't know, guys. That's the decision that Eric is still trying to figure out. But I'm bringing Jonas the book because I have 2, and I don't need to. One's enough, and I already have the second one in my home gym, which is where it belongs.
That's fair. That is fair. Okay. Yeah, guys, Rippaverse. Go check it out. Back the Second Chance campaign for the year 1 through 3 omnibus. You won't be upset that you did. It's a nice thing to have as part of your collection.
I was surprised we sold out of that at the convention.
We did. That was a concern, like going in, like, man, we brought like a dozen of these things. Are we gonna even sell these? And yes, we sold them all.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Which I'm glad. That was a lot less weight that we had to put on the pallet back home. I can't imagine how many pounds those things. Actually, I guess I could probably calculate it, but I have no interest in doing that because that sounds like math and really hard.
Well, I really appreciate Brandon doing a lot of the heavy lifting on that because I was absolutely wiped at one point. It was like, what do you want to do, Brandon? He was like, just go. Your guys are done. I was like, okay. And like we like slowly shuffled our way out of the convention center. So bless him for stepping up and taking care of all that.
Huge shout out to Brandon on that. Yeah. So, Brandon took care of us for sure while we were there. So good guy, Brandon.
When he's not playing a prank on us.
Of course.
That's true. He is also the resident prankster at the Rippaverse. Hiding phones, hiding glasses.
My glasses. All right, let's talk about the event again because I know we've gotten sidetracked a few times. So, all right, so we've talked a little bit about the history of the events. So the next thing that I would like to ask you to, as the local experts, because as far as I'm concerned, like I read comics, but like my pedagogy on like the comic universe is like pretty small. So in your guys' opinions, what is the pros and cons of having crossover events like this?
Well, I mean, I think, Andrew kind of mentioned it before, sometimes you could, it can run its course, or, sometimes you can overemphasize certain continuities and, sometimes things cannot match up, or sometimes you could throw all your eggs in one basket and throw too much at the audience. So you have to kind of treat it sparingly. I think that's the benefit of tie-ins. So you don't hit them with because you always have the main story and then everything that just kind of links to that. And it's supposed to, carry the story along and give you sometimes insight on what other characters are doing while the main event is going on. or how characters process sometimes the events after the fact, like the aftermath of everything. So you just kind of have to play it by ear. I mean, I guess that would be like kind of the pros and cons, kind of all wrapped up. Like you have to be consistent, make sure, especially when you have other creatives that are writing stories, that their story and continuity matches with what's going on. So they don't come up with some way in left field and be like, yeah, I think this would work. And like, okay, there are no giant Sasquatch, massive, gorilla people coming to Earth and like, kind of
There's
like
not.
right?
Darn it.
T-Rex beasts. It's like that sounds like an epic battle in space, but this isn't Star Wars kind of thing. Like, so, it kind of helps one keep everything kind of like centered. And then, like I said, too, you just have to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Communication, I'm sure, is key. When people are writing these stories, no different, really, honestly, than it's almost like the Saints and Sinners, and what am I calling it? Not analog. What is it called?
The anthology.
Anthology on a larger scale. So it's kind of spanning across these different stories and different characters, but you definitely have to make sure everything stays connected. Otherwise, you can go off the rails, and somebody have a story that just doesn't fit. So,
what was your favorite crossover, Kanan?
Oh man, I would probably say, dang.
Chat, what was your favorite crossover too? This is audience participation.
The one I was, we mentioned Infinite Crisis. That's the one I can think of the most, probably the most recent. I would say, was that an Infinite Crisis when Superboy
Infinite
Prime,
Crisis when Superboy Prime.
Yes, yep, that Luther, like all that Superman Prime, that was one of my favorites. And then I'm thinking, and this was kind of an older one, but it was, man, there's been so much. Like, I guess for DC, though, that one, and then the other one was when Captain Adam spanned all the way across into the Wildstorm universe and the DC universe.
Oh wow.
And he was just like wrecking stuff. Like,
yeah.
All and it was like, so you got to see how people in the Wildstorm universe drew him and illustrated him, and how he was affecting him. And then for Marvel, I would say the one that really sticks out the most for me would be the Onslaught and the buildup. So when that was like a movie for me. Like that whole build up, of like everybody's figuring out, man, like that it's Xavier, and so they all finally end up at the mansion. It was like, you're him, and then Xavier is just like with a sinister look, man, and just Onslaught manifests. And then shortly after that, I believe the Incon Crystal like destroyed everything, and that launched Age of Apocalypse. So it was just one of those things, man. It was just beautifully done. So those are the three that I think stand out for me.
Yeah,
Andrew,
sure.
I choose you.
My favorite DC crossover event. There are actually very few Marvel crossover events that I actually like. My favorite DC one though is probably Blackest Night.
I was gonna say that too.
Blackest Night, Ivan Rise.
Yes.
Oh man, his art is so next level. That man is, gosh, that event is beautiful. I freaking love that event. It's so cool. And there are a lot that I also enjoy. I like Infinite Crisis, for a lot of things that it did. Final Crisis technically is what brought back Barry Allen, into the DC universe after he'd been lost since Crisis on Infinite Earths in, 86. Because that was when the issue came out where he died, or at least we thought he died. So yeah, comic book events, these big line-wide crossovers, they can be super fun.
Yeah.
And I think they also have both the benefit as well as the potential downside of establishing a new status quo for the universe for writers.
Yeah.
Right. And so oftentimes I think it might be used in more the mainstream where they worry that writers can't write really long runs anymore. And a lot of times that actually is kind of accurate.
Yeah.
Where, you know, because it's not frequent that we have guys these days that are going as long as Chuck did on Batman, or as long as he did on Robin.
Yeah.
Right. Most writers' runs are far shorter than that.
It's about 6 issues right now, and then a lot of the stuff that I found in regards to that research is because people are just waiting for the 6 issues to come out as a graphic novel.
Yeah.
Because if you take a look at what's selling right now, the floppies aren't selling very much, but the graphic novels are, because people would rather have it all together.
Yeah, the trades. Yeah.
Not to cut you off. I was like, oh wait, I have that answer.
I
read that sales report.
I have an introduction here with data. Yeah, no, I'm here for it. I'm good with it.
There's a graph and spreadsheet, guys.
She's got a spreadsheet, and everyone was collectively unsurprised.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I think that they'll do that so that there's a new jumping off point, both for readers as well as for the writers, so they can say, oh, okay, so things have kind of like reset to this point, and I can now build from here instead of having to necessarily directly build off of everything that was already going on. That can work, and sometimes it doesn't as well. I think it just depends on the talent of the writer, and the direction that they're going, because some events kind of really do flub things up, in my personal opinion, and they don't leave their respective universes in a good spot to where it actually ends up hamstringing the writers, and they're kind of like, all right, this is cards dealt, right? I got to work with this, right? So thankfully that's not what we're doing here with Exclave. Exclave is going to be
it's very controlled.
It's a good word for it. It's a controlled event.
There was a document.
There was a document. Yeah, there was a document. It's going to more impact certain characters than others. And those of you who've been reading from the beginning will probably be able to guess which characters it most impacts. I would say, because we got a lot of fans that really dig into this stuff at a deep level. But outside of that, it's going to have a lesser, at least direct impact on other characters. That way it feels more organic. This isn't meant to like reset and, you know, establish a new status quo for the entire Rippaverse. This is telling a very specific crossover event story that Eric has had planned since ISOM 1. And the like literal breadcrumbs were laid in ISOM 1. So like I said, guys, go back, do your rereads.
It's all there.
It is there. And you're like, holy crap, that he's telling no lies. And they really were setting this up that far back. And that shows a vision. Right? And that shows it's easy to, you know, Kara, you mentioned this when I told you that I was working on, you know, creating a speedster for the Rippaverse. And you're like, don't have just like the pitch of like, here's the character, have something ready, and then like make sure you have an idea of what you want to do next. So it doesn't come across as just like, I only have one decent idea for this and nothing planned afterwards, right? Because you can always, well, it's like with movie sequels, right? You could always tell when a movie was intended as a one-off, and then they come out with some sequels, and it's like, yeah, nobody actually intended on there being a sequel
Matrix 4
initially, but it made money, right? Yeah, no, exactly, right? Or even Matrix 2 and 3, to be honest. Like
now my nerd hat's coming out there for Matrix. Okay, so
I like Reloaded. That was dope.
No, I like the Chateau fight and in Matrix Reloaded.
The thing about the Matrix. The brothers, now sisters, we're gonna take that and put that over here. So the brothers at the time had only intended to just make the Matrix. Right? That was all they wanted to do. And sometimes, in my professional opinion, having one thing is enough. You don't have to do sequels, right?
True.
But the studio didn't believe in that. The studio was like, this thing makes us money and we like money, so we're going to keep making you do this. And so they kept pushing the brothers into doing all this content, to the point where in some places where you guys are like, this scene is completely ridiculous, they did that on purpose because they were completely fed up, right?
They were checked out.
They were absolutely fed up. And if you want a recap of what their experience was like, they literally did it pilot in Matrix 4, right? They like the whole like opening montage of like what Keanu's character was going through was exactly what they all went through.
Okay.
And then I'm pretty confident that their intention behind 4 was to completely destroy the franchise to the point where everybody's like, we can no longer touch this. Nobody will want to watch it.
Yeah, they succeeded.
Right. They were like, we got the fuel. Here's the fuel.
There,
we got a match. It's on fire. Can we move on with our strange life?
Fire.
It's like, and to top it off, now we're chicks. Okay, so like, let us go. Like, we're done with everything.
That's crazy.
So, yeah,
I can see that, man. Especially with the third one. Like it was like you could tell they were. Honestly, that should have been one movie anyway. It shouldn't have been 2 and 3. It should have been just 1 and 2, and then been done. Because it was a full movie.
They had some really good symbolism in there that there's a lot of like Nietzsche elements in there and free will and what is God, and even the time when Neo's talking to the architect and all of that. Like if you actually look at the layers, if you grab the script, grab the script, because every response that you see in all of the televisions, like they all have a different level of like the human psyche that's in them. And the one that he ends up going with is the one that kind of like decides like that timeline for that period. But it's just the fact that the architect has everything already mapped out, says like so many different things. Okay, now I'm done nerding out about the movie. But yeah, so
but that all just circles back to like actually having intentionality behind having more stories to tell, right?
And that being a roadmap,
Yeah, having a. There are a lot of creatives that are averse to using the term content because they think it devalues the work. But the fact is, the content is the product. That's the thing. Yeah. Whether as artists, whether you're a writer, whether you're an artist, whatever.
Well, it doesn't help the McDonald's guys calling food product. Like, okay, I know you can't call it food because it's not technically food, but like now that you've called it product, like
it's not considered food in a lot of countries, that's for sure. But it's important to remember that these things need to have their proper lifespan.
Yeah.
And you need to have in mind what your vision for that is. Like Caro, for Dirty Deeds, you had this long form thing already planned out, right? And you had the jumping off point. It was like, hey, if this hits, then I can do all this. But if this doesn't hit, this thing here, this works, right? Not enough writers, I think past that. I think you have a lot of writers with some really cool one-off ideas. And it's okay to have just a one-off cool idea that works as a one-off cool idea. There's nothing wrong with that. It's when you force the sequel that you try. It's the whole, trying to force a square peg into a round hole, right?
Exactly.
Where, it clearly showcases that you weren't thinking beyond that initial story. Eric did not set up our universe that way. And he is very deliberate about making sure that whatever another writer pitches to him, that also does not feel like it's something that would be forced.
Exactly.
Right. He wants stories to feel organic and like they actually have a proper place in our universe. Even if it's in different corners of our universe, that's fine. Zaylin, he's got fluff all to do with most of our universe right now, right? He's over there doing his thing.
Yeah.
Right. Same with the Dirty Deeds crew. They're over there doing their thing.
Yeah.
Right. But then you have other stories that they're more interconnected in a more localized area, and that's okay. Not every story needs an ongoing. Not every story needs a bazillion sequels.
Yeah.
Tell the stories that make sense. And the event that we have going on right now is pulling together the stories that made sense for this, because it's what we were building towards. So I'm excited for you guys to get your paws on this, because being on this side now of the comic book experience, right? Not just a weekly reader and all of that. It's really exciting to like know that we've built towards this first event. Now people are going to actually get to experience it and see like the breadcrumbs that were laid by the different writers building towards this thing and how it all kind of fits together in this, jigsaw way. It's an exciting time to be here.
It's good. It's great times. It's good times.
It's very good times.
I saw some super chats.
We did have more super chats come through. Let me hit those. And we're coming up on the hour and a half mark. So after I hit these, we could have some final thoughts and then let these people get to their dinners. Let Caro go back to time traveling.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Let Kanan go back to his family and creating amazing art.
Are you going to do that thing where you wake up at 2 and check in? Are you going to do that?
He's probably gonna do that.
Probably.
Yeah, he's probably going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. That's my creative. That's my creative zone.
We have a thing at work where we check in and say that what we're doing, right? And there's 3 of us that wake up like at the crack ass of dawn, right? And sometimes I wake up.
It's not me.
No, it's definitely not Andrew. But one time I was like, man, okay, I can't sleep. It's 4. I'll just check in and get to work. I check in. Kanan and I had already checked in at 3:30. I was like,
yeah, I mean,
and I was like, you cheated.
I'm up. You know, it's like, okay,
one time I actually tried to cheat. I tried to cheat and I scheduled the time for when I was going to check in, right, in Teams. Kanan woke up at 2 that morning. He woke up at 2 and checked in. And I was like, I can't win.
I remember
even when I cheat, I can't win.
I remember I saw Eric I saw Igor typing. Yeah, I saw him all the time. I was just like, morning.
Just to beat him. How insulting is that?
We've done that to each other though. Like Kanan and I will see one of us typing, so it's like who can do it.
Just say something real quick. I'm here. Like, no.
Oh man. 1992 space movie. Member for 12 months. Thank you for your member super chat. I appreciate you. We all appreciate you here. Are we going to get a Great War of Separation omnibus at some point? Also, with all these releases this year, I'm going to need some long boxes. Okay, so first part of that question, because that's 2 questions, or a question and a statement, really. Yes, Eric has already stated this on stream before, so I'm not dropping any NDAs here. There will inevitably be a collected edition of the Great War of Separation. What that actually ends up looking like, I'm not sure. I know that a few of us here have pitched some ideas as to like cool things we could do with that, but those may or may not be viable at this point, at least within the confines of our new solicitation format.
We'll
so that kind of depends
when the time is right.
Yeah, when the time is right, you'll know, and we'll know probably 5 minutes before you. So, you know, that was the resigning of truth. Is what that was. That was like he didn't say anything that was unlikely.
There was nothing incorrect about your statement.
No lies.
That's what that was. No lies detected here. I speak no lies, or at least I try not to. So yeah, whether that means it's something that gets released as part of our pre solicitations, or it's something that we do as more of a maybe we go back to the collection format for that one. I don't know. I have no idea what Eric has planned there. I just know that he has stated on a stream before, we will have a complete collected edition of Great War of Separation, which I'm super looking forward to, because that's like when you read it all in one go, which I did when I first got my paws on the script, it's a whole different experience.
It's so good. It really is. It's a book that you have to read twice. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Like Chuck is just amazing. Chuck's Chuck.
Chuck's Chuck. That hits it perfectly, because
Chuck's Chuck.
I know when people were getting it issue by issue, and right now they just have the first 2. Issue 3 is going to be getting in their hands here really soon. Like Chuck wrote it in such a way that there's a ramp up in the action. Like the first one is paced very steadily, kind of on the slower side. It's the slow burn. It's a lot of setting the stage, and then issue 2, it shifts into a totally different gear.
Yeah.
And then issue 3 does it even more so. And then issue 4, even more so after that. And I enjoy that kind of storytelling, right? Like lay the groundwork and then set the stage and then go off to the races.
Yep.
And Chuck is really good about doing that. He did a phenomenal job.
What I really love is just seeing like how badass like Avery's dad is. Right.
Oh, dude, Jacob Silman is the
I know.
man.
I was like, this is a dude. Like, he needs his own like comic at one point. Just a one-off.
He's that guy. I want a short story of Jacob. Is what I
Both
want.
parents need their own comic.
I was gonna say, like, I've been bugging Eric for like a year and a half. Like, where is my Harriet one shot?
Yes.
Where is my young Harriet?
Yeah.
I want to write Harriet.
Yeah.
All right, I got
Guys,
a cover in mine already.
Oh, let's do it. Pitch it. We're trying to get 100 books out this year.
Yeah, throw it at him.
Yes.
Let's do it. Let's freaking
Because I mean, that's
go.
kind of like what happened with like Twin Tricks. I was like, Eric, I want to write this story. And he was like, how fast can you write it? And I was like, probably in a week. And so then I wrote it. And then it was like, okay, so we're launching it. I'm like, that's cool.
Well, and then Eric was like, hey, so how much of this book do you already have written? Talk about Arcstream. And I was like, Eric, I've written the first 6 issues for this. And all of a sudden, like, it was like the next day or two, I saw it go from like issue 1 was on the docket to issue 1, 2, and 3 were on the docket.
Yes, sir. Yep.
It was like, cool. Bet.
Yeah. Do it.
Jath for $10. Thank you so much for that. That's amazing. For Andrew and Caro, what do you like about the casts of each other's books besides Zeph, Spingy, and Rinlin? Oh, you took Rinlin off the table.
Of course.
I think everybody knows how you feel about Rinlin.
There's other characters, Andrew. Jeez.
No, there are. It's fine, I guess. She just, she really takes the spotlight, and she casts large shadows, Rinlin has great parabolas.
She has perfect parabolas. That's how it's written. Yeah. Yes.
Also, is Tina's last name spelled Zdarsky? Yes, it is. That's exactly how it's spelled. Actually, no, it's with a is it with an I at the end, not a Y? I can't remember off the top of my head right now. And which ethnicity is it? Well, Zdarsky is would that be Polish?
I thought it was Polish.
I think that'd be Polish, if I remember correctly. But for the first part of your question,
it's European, therefore it is not Texan. Anything not Texan is European.
Anything not Texan is European.
Listen, I bought a pair of cowboy boots. I'm almost Texan at this point. Okay.
That's like my freaking phrase where I'm like, you're either American or you're a redcoat. Like, those are your options. It's like you're speaking to somebody that's North African. I don't care. They're a redcoat. But that's the only other option. There are only 2 options in this world. As far as the first part of that question, I actually really, really like Beatles. I think Beatles is a character that people are going to grow to like way more than I think they think they're going to once they get their hands on the first full issue. Because Beatles offers this... How do I want to describe this? So he offers the logic and kind of like straight, like unfiltered facts that you would expect out of somebody like Spock, maybe, like to make the Star Trek comparison there. But at the same time, he has more personality, and so he has this snark to him that he's capable probably of delivering the line differently, but he's choosing to deliver it the way that he is because he's choosing to be a snarky schmuck.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's fun.
Like, one of the lines that will usually be reoccurring is like along the lines of like, well, how long can we bank it out here? It's like, well, you guys will run out of air in 6 turns.
Yeah. Like, specifically, you guys. I don't have to worry about that, right? Like, that wording is deliberate, right? Like, I'm chilling. Like, I'm Gucci over here.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. That's a ton of fun. I do genuinely love when team dynamics are handled in such a way that you have conflicting personalities and disparate personalities actually able to work together.
Yeah.
And that's fun. Like, that's hard to do as a writer, having that many different character voices and conflicting personalities actually work well together. Caro does a really good job with that with Dirty Deeds. It's like what Chuck does with the Alpha Core, and when he was working on the Bat books and things like that, right? Like, that's hard to do. It's hard enough to be consistent with one character's voice.
Yeah.
Right. It's another thing entirely to be consistent with a half dozen of them.
Yeah.
Right. So that's fun. I enjoy that. So I think everybody's going to really enjoy getting more Beatles. I know I am. I consistently look for, whenever I get a new Dirty Deed script, I look for the new Beatles line specifically.
Like, how will he be snarky today?
Exactly. Like I'm waiting for Evan's art when it comes to the Renlin stuff, and I like her personality too. To be clear,
okay,
but like,
sure.
But with Beatles, like he
personality
really does highlight something on the page when Beatles speaks, and so I look forward to
that. For your stuff, I actually really like Ian. No surprise to you.
No surprise whatsoever.
Because when Andrew submitted the script and I was looking at it and I saw Ian, I was like, I'm gonna work with you on Ian because I used to date an Ian that was just like this. So we're just gonna flesh this character out to the best that he can be. But the backstory that you made for Ian, I think, is probably what I like about him the most. And as that starts to show in like your story and whatnot, I think everybody else will also get it. But I think it's a character that everybody's going to be able to relate to because it's one of those things where, and I'm not giving it away, but it's like there's a reason he's got like that gruff exterior, and like when you find out why he's got the gruff exterior, it makes sense and it makes him very likable. So that's my favorite.
I really like Ian and his sunny disposition.
And they're perfect. They're great counters for each other. That's what it is.
They are.
Because you've got Zephyr who's like all bright and happy, and it's kind of like, okay, we're gonna do our best, and you've got Ian who's like, or we could just like sit here and not move.
Well, every Sonic needs his shadow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, but he also reminds me of, I'm not sure because I don't know a lot about his character yet, but he reminds me of Kevin 11 from Ben 10. I don't know if you remember that guy.
I'm not familiar with Ben 10.
Okay, yeah. If you ever seen Ben 10, dark haired, kind of same kind of little brooding character, a little emo, little kind of off putting, little cocky, but then a
little sardonic.
Yeah, but he ends up becoming like an ally. He has his own little story arc, and Ben and his I can forget the girl's name. My son, he's a Ben 10 fan, but they just kind of like end up this just weird loose alliance, man. So, but yeah.
It's the sardonic part. That's what it is. Every time I see a sardonic character, I'm like, I like this character. As somebody who writes sardonic characters, let me see over there. Yeah. But,
yep. So. Yep. Absolutely. Good questions. Another 10 from Jeff. What's your favorite part of ISOM 2? I liked when Sydney told him all pigeons are bots, which is why no one sees their babies in the wild, and then conjured up Brazilian hamsters to help them fight.
Oh man.
Yeah, I enjoyed that part as well. That was quite the scene. That the 2-page splash in that sequence was particularly fascinating.
My favorite part of
real foul work there.
My favorite part was when Gooding got on top of the robot and went charging in and said it's bolting time.
It's
bolting time.
I dig it. I dig it. Jath with number 5 says,
wait,
yes.
Kanan, what's Kanan's favorite part?
Oh gosh, yeah, Kanan, what was your favorite?
I'm always about the action, man. So it's probably not a major like some like story plot, but just it kind of is. You figure out why ISOM quit. You figure out like just when you meet Chad during the course, and you figure out the events that kind of led up to that, and just kind of how it shook him. I think that's kind of pivotal. That was kind of the first time we actually got to see really even like a glimpse of him younger, and just like his early days, which I want to explore more. But
I'm trying. It's been like one of those things. You know how like there's subliminal messaging that people do. It's like I'll have a regular conversation with Eric, and then I'll just be like, and stats, and then we can email this person, young ISOM, and I thought maybe we could have a meeting with like David and a young ISOM. Like I just keep like doing that.
Because man, I mean, like it's like even the cover, like at least I don't know if it ties into any of the story from his past when he was younger, but I feel like he was a neighborhood known hero. So, if you grew up in like in inner city, or you've seen kind of inner city heroes, man, they'll spray paint them on the wall, little homages and tributes and things like that. And so, that's one of the things I did with his cover like it'd be awesome to like just kind of like, you know, when Isom was like that dude, and like everybody knew, like when you know when you see the orange and black, you know, it's on, it's on site kind of thing. So yeah, more Isom, young Isom, please.
I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it.
Everybody just start tagging Eric on X and just don't say anything with context. Just say young Isom and just keep
As
doing
when we're
that.
getting young Isom. Yeah, that might work. Bullying works. You know.
Also, while you're doing that, also mention the horseman helmet and say that you can't wait for
the
that to
stingy
happen.
plushie.
Yeah.
With the wire arms and the suction cup so you can stick it on your windshield. You know, like the Garfield plushies that you used to see, you know, back in the early 2000s and 90s. Yeah, he had the suction cups on his paws. Man, I think that'd be perfect.
At this rate,
crap out of that.
At this rate, I'm probably going to crochet one and give it out as a winning to somebody.
That'd be kind of cool though, you know.
That'd be pretty cool too. That'd be a 1 of 1.
Yeah.
When you talk about the horseman helmet, you gotta act like you already got it. Like, man, I just got my horseman helmet in the mail, and man, I can't wait to put it on. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another 5. DC Comics lore question. What do all you guys think Wonder Woman's biggest fear as a character is? I'm curious what your different thoughts are on.
I'll let you two go first while I think about that.
So that's one of those things that really depends on continuity. Because if we're taking Wonder Woman at a more classic iteration, you know, we're talking Perez and all of that, I would say that her biggest fear would be not being able to positively impact the world around her. Like Wonder Woman is actually, despite the fact that she's a pretty much peerless warrior, actually is someone with a heart of peace. She wants to spread peace and she wants to spread cooperation. That's the entire reason why she went out into man's world, right? There are iterations of her that make her into like this kind of almost bloodthirsty warrior, and it always lands wrong because it's like that doesn't feel like Diana at all.
That's part of her though. That's part of it. But it's not, it doesn't dominate like people have made it in recent years.
Yeah, she has the ability to go into that mode of the peerless warrior, but she's always fighting for peace.
Yeah.
And so the intent there is incredibly important. So I think the fear for me, if I was writing Wonder Woman, I would be writing her as someone who fears a world without peace.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, it's because her, like you said, her ideals are really cross and synonymous with Superman and Batman. They just approach it differently. You know, Superman, you know, his goal is always to, for lack of a better term, lessen himself in a way to really amplify humanity, you know, in any way he can, you know, of course, be there, support, but you know, I remember there was this issue where it was called Grounded. He just decided he was going to walk everywhere. And so he just, you know, walked everywhere, you know, talked to everybody. So I feel like Wonder Woman, and I feel like you said, Wonder Woman, you know, I would say what you said as well, but then also living up to her legacy, like of as profound and as much of a leader as her mother is, Hippolyta. You know, and always having that in the back of her mind, like really like juggling two realities. You know, he said being a hero to mankind and really like establishing yourself, but at the same time, you know your mom is watching, even though she can't, you know, you can't go necessarily. Well, she used to couldn't go back to Themyscira, but you know, I guess they've changed that since then. But like that legacy of what being an Amazon means, like, you know, so she still has that part that she always has to juggle with, and I feel like sometimes that would cause, you know, that would be kind of like a fear of not living up to that legacy, like feeling like you went out there and like almost like as a child going out on their own, like I didn't do it, you know, did I fail, you know, do enough, you know, is you know, almost like some sort of approval, you know, like am I doing it enough? am I living up to the legacy that I was sent out to do, you know, kind of thing. So that's my take.
I think for me, and keep in mind my pedagogy on Wonder Woman is pretty surface level. I think for me it would be losing her memories, because if you take away certain key memories, you change who she is as a person. So all these things that we're talking about that make her who she is, considering her background and the mythos that she comes from and everything else like that, she knows that if the moment you alter her memories, you change who she is. So I think that would probably be a fear that she would have. But that's pure speculation on my part, especially since there's so many versions of her right now. But I think that would be a universal one that maybe they would all have in common.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Nice. Jeff, with another 10. How do I know when my outline's long enough? I can rest assured that the series won't die or get flanderized. What do I do if I get beyond my outline and want to write more, but can't see what to build to? Oh man, this is a great Caro question.
There's no required length for your outline. I was just talking to somebody about it. If your outline can fit like on this piece of paper and it works, then that's fine. I would say just be cautious of outlining to the point of procrastination, because some people will be like, I have to keep outlining in order for it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes just writing it is all you really need to do.
That's good.
If you get to a point and you don't know what to do, or you're running into a block, reread what you wrote. Because sometimes when you're rereading something, that will conjure up the ideas that you need. Or in worst case scenario, take a break from what you're doing. Walk around, look at things around your office if you need the answer right now, and just start like verbally and saying things that you're looking at, because that will trigger different parts of your brain. And worst case scenario, get somebody that you can soundboard off of, and just be kind of like, I'm thinking about this, but I'm stuck with this. And maybe that person won't have like the ideas that you're looking for, but maybe they'll trigger like a train of thought. You
maybe
can't do that.
A bad idea from them triggers a train of thought of good ideas in you.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend doing it with an actual organic person, because I know a lot of people like to use ChatGPT for that. And the only reason I'm not saying to use ChatGPT is mostly because it's designed to keep talking to it. And so that's something like, it literally wants you to stay and use it and keep having conversations with it, so that way it can keep learning from you. And in the worst case scenario, it does prompts like, oh my goodness, that was a very insightful thought that you have, and I really like where you're going with that, when in fact it could be complete dog water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
It's disingenuous.
It gives positive reinforcement on something that doesn't actually warrant a positive reaction.
Yeah. So stick with an organic sounding board. And it can be a person that reads, it can be a person that doesn't read. I mean, like the amount of times I've gone to Andrew and been like, boy brain, I have a question for you. And then like I throw it at him. He's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Good. I think that is correct. I know for me, outlining, I like to start with just like the biggest, most important points that I want in the story.
You do that. It's true.
and then I'll fill it out slightly more detailed from there, and then maybe one more detailed step from there. And then at that point is when I'm like, okay, yep, I have the framework, the skeleton of what I need here to actually start writing. And then I go, and then I kind of just fill in the rest as I go along, because then that allows those finest details to come through organically, just as the story happens, because your characters will often teach you things about themselves as you're writing them. You learn about your characters and about your world as you're writing, and things will just become organic in that way, rather than feeling kind of robotic.
Yeah, it was the what you write and what you gravitate. We're sidebarring here a little bit. It was just a thought I had that I wanted to share with everybody. But like certain things that happen in your writing can also be like your subconscious trying to talk to you. So for example, let me see if I can do this. So for this book, Queen of Swords and Silence, I wrote a series of short stories, and they all had to do with Jesus at one point. And I had not mapped out how the conversations with Jesus were going to go, but like I noticed that my stories kept gravitating towards them, and then I kept depicting Jesus in a certain kind of way. And I was like, I think my subconscious is trying to tell me something. And so that's when I was like, I literally was like through my writing, I was like, I think I need to go back to church, right? And so like I went back to church for a while, and then it would like I found my answers there. But in some cases, like what you're writing is your brain trying to work through things. So that's why in some cases when somebody like sends me a book and they're kind of like, what did you think about that book that person wrote? And I was like, they were working through something for sure.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and you don't think about that. Kind of not really self-insert, man, but like you said, it's sometimes it makes the story have more impact when it's actually connected to something that's happened. That person can read and be like, man, like that felt like they were talking to me. Like, well, if you only knew what I was going through when I wrote that. It's like,
well, that's having emotional beats that readers can connect with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then I can't remember what Stephen King book it was. I mean, he got a lot to unpack for sure. But there was one book that he wrote, and he didn't know it, but like in reflection on going back about it, what he had done is that within his story, he had manifested his addiction to the stuff that he was partaking in, and how it was holding him hostage and breaking his legs and all this other stuff. And he didn't come to that conclusion until like after he had finished the book and he was like editing it, and he was kind of like, I need help.
Yep. Yeah, when you was talking about that, I was watching a brief documentary, not detail, but Lovecraft wrote like that. And when I read about kind of like his upbringing in his life, I was like, that makes sense why you wrote
everything makes more sense now. Yeah.
I was like, dang, man. Like it was bad.
Yeah.
He's sickly most of his life, and his idea of God and spirituality and things like that was like on the low. And so everything was dark and morbid, and he read a lot of Allan Poe, and he dealt with depression and all that stuff. So that makes sense how he came out with Cthulhu. It's like, yikes.
And you see it with you see it with Robert E. Howard too, because like Robert E. Howard had such like I love him as an example, but he had such this masculine romantic longing for the way that he wanted to be. Like you could almost see it in like every way that he wrote prose, how he described things. And I always joke that all Conan stories start the same way, which is Conan walks into a bar shirtless and everybody takes note, and the biggest man in the room is threatened by Conan and tries to put Conan in his place. They get into a fight. Obviously, Conan wins. 2 quivering women show up to warm up Conan's sides because, again, he's shirtless. He needs to be kept warm, right?
True.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. And then, that week's quest giver shows up being like, you seem to be a man that can do things, shirtless Conan man with 2 women on either sides. And Conan's like, I, in fact, can do something for you if you have money, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's, if you ever like, just take the time to like go read it. And it's like, when you find out like how basically Robert E. Howard lived in the basement with his mom, right?
Okay.
And you can see that he was just trying to escape that into a life that he really wanted to be. And I really love it so much. I don't
escapism.
Yeah, I don't love what happened to him. That makes me sad, but I do love what he gifted to us. And then the unfortunate thing with Lovecraft and Robert, first name basis, like we're friends, is that nobody really heard about them until after they passed away.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Granted, I will say Lovecraft was freaking weird. Okay,
yes,
like he was very weird.
Yes.
It was definitely one of those things where it's like, I'm gonna bring my friend, but I just want to let you know he's a little quirky.
Right. You gotta do a little preface, like a little sus, but I mean, you'll get used to it.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah. But all he does is like sit in the corner and like just stares at people.
Yeah.
Right. Muttering some.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
right.
Oh, okay.
Does he do that the entire time? Yeah, just don't worry about it. Like his wife brought him here. It's fine.
Just give him some cookies and he's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. There's probably some other writers that do that too. Now that I'm thinking about it, but I don't want to turn that into a big literary discussion for today, especially since I think you said like 20 minutes ago we were wrapping up.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, friends.
That's okay. Let's
start talking about books. Anyway. I got excited.
I know. Let's get on with the super chats here. Jaff, for another $10, what were your favorite parts of Across the Bear from Saints and Sinners? I liked when he went, no, wait, and was saved by a talking orb of yellow color.
So the thing that didn't happen in Saints and Sinners.
It was the thing that didn't happen. Yeah. So I think did Cameron cross over into Color World from Achromatic Chronicles? Is that what's happening there? Is that what I'm?
I think that's what they're trying to insinuate. Yeah.
I think that's what we're saying there. See, I liked when the green talking orb showed up and was super sassy. I like that.
I liked when Bone God said, "Do you want to cuddle?" I thought that was really that hit me really right here.
Oh,
the power of cuddles, guys. The power of cuddles. They're important.
I have no comment.
Fair. I ain't even mad. Mike has bad news for $2. When will we be getting some new merch? That's a great question, because right now we're focused on the books. We're trying to get books into y'all's hands, whether that's shipping books or launching books. So
probably not together with launches anymore.
Yeah, they're going to be their own drops on the shop. I
think the only thing that's holding up some of our fulfillment right now are posters.
Yeah, we're waiting on some posters for some of our other books to start fulfillment, which those are in production right now. I think the next thing I really want to see is I want to see another short box, because with how many books we're putting out now, I know mine are filled.
I mean,
and that's before
I'm running out of shelf space.
Like, that's before this year's releases and the ones from last quarter of last year. So I feel like we probably need, I don't know, a couple of short box.
You know what
those are pricey to make, guys.
I'm throwing this out to the universe. I'm throwing it out there. Maybe Eric is listening to the stream. Maybe not. I don't know. I want jerseys.
That would be sweet.
That's what I want. I want jerseys. I want an Alpha Core jersey. I want an Iceland jersey. Dude, I want jerseys.
Now, what style jersey? You want hockey
I mean,
jersey?
hockey for me.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, I would like that, like for me, like a football jersey or even like a soccer jersey would be kind of.
I was gonna say I'd want a soccer jersey, but that's because I'm a soccer player.
You basketball jerseys, dude. Come on.
So I'd kill one for one of those. Yeah, why not? Those are probably pricey to make. So
football seems to be the more common one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that in basketball.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Not a bad idea.
I want, though. That's what I want. I'm throwing it out there in the universe, guys. I'm throwing it out there.
Eric, if you're listening, jerseys. I've already told Eric we need to just have a line.
Young Isom, long boxes, jerseys.
We need to have a set of merch that's shirts that's literally just character logos. We need to have those.
Another women's everybody does. Poster too.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Jeff, with another $2, updates on Rippa panels being posted to YouTube. If you're talking about panels,
like interviews,
or convention,
from the convention, everything that was done at the convention in terms of recorded is on YouTube in one shape or form or another at this point. I don't think there are any full panels that were recorded and posted that I'm aware of, at least that I have access to. So everything that was done is all in clips. So, yeah, there's that. Another $2. Kevin 11's the GOAT. W for Kanan. Kanan is the GOAT. Another 2 from Jaff. W for Andrew. Long live the puns. I appreciate you.
Don't encourage him.
He's about to think of one around. Look at what. Look at him.
I just let it come to me. I don't sit on it. It's got to be organic, man.
I did give Andrew a good one the other day. I was actually pretty proud of it.
You did.
I did, yeah.
You did. I was like, proud of you. And W for Caro, books are always good to get excited for. I agree, and we're trying to give you all more books. If you guys want more books, you should go to our solicitations page, in which you can find Dirty Deeds Jailbreak, Dirty Deeds 2, Arcstream False Start,
yes, sir.
Issue 1. You can find Horseman 3, Bloodruth 3.
There's a lot of books.
Smuggler
guys.
Stitch.
There's a lot.
Great War 4. There's a lot going on. Yeah, Sersha, Salvage. What am I forgetting right now? Hellbound Stagecoach. Now Stephanya's on there. Twin Tricks is on there.
Yeah.
Exclave. Issue 0's on there. Guys, I'm not going to list them all off. Y'all are grown. The link is pinned in the chat. Click that.
Please check them out. Please check them out. I know some of you in the
Ascend as well. We've
got we didn't talk about Afar, did we?
We've got Afar, which is a wonderful wordless retelling of the Gospels by Mike S. Miller. It's done in an art style that's very similar to like Calvin and Hobbes, which I super appreciate because I've got a stack of Calvin and Hobbes collection books, the nice big like coffee table ones. And I absolutely adore those. This is a wonderful project, and you have the ability to also donate, or rather purchase bulk books.
You purchase, we donate. That's how it's working.
For us to then donate to charities of your choosing, which is really cool. I think that's a wonderful thing. So guys, please check that out. We've got Gabriel and the Guardians issue 1 on there too, which the interiors for the interiors for that
classic manga,
beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So I'm one of those more old school anime guys. I like my Vision of Escaflowne and my record of Lodos War and all that. So that's where I come from. So when I say this is legit really cool manga art, I'm being serious about it. So
I believe you.
You should believe me. Mike has bad knees. Last super chat, $5. His baseball jerseys. Baseball jersey is not a bad idea either.
We could do a jersey that's styled for each hero, right?
Ooh.
We could do it that way.
Like what would be the sport that they would most likely be associated with? We could do that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
I want Horseman to be hockey. Okay. It makes sense that he would be hockey. It
kind of does.
Okay. I'll never forget when somebody was trying to get me into sport ball, and I was like, I'm just not really a sport ball person. They're like, you seem like a hockey chick. And I was like, I have never seen hockey, but okay, sure. Right. And so, and I've told the story before, so forgive me for telling again. I just love to tell it. But I watched the first Stars hockey game, and of course, like one of the players comes up and they're like, how do you think you're going to do? Guy's talking. I don't know what he's saying, mostly because I'm enamored by the fact that half his teeth are missing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, and mostly I think he's saying like, yeah, we're just going to go out there and we're just going to do our best. And, the best is what we got and the best is enough. And we're just going to do our best. And anyway, I got to go. And then he just skates off. Right. I was like, but then sure enough, like as soon as the game starts, like I know the puck is on the ice, but it doesn't matter because they're too busy like trying to like beat each other into the wall.
Yep.
And then I was like, this guy's right. I am a hockey chick. Like I didn't know it was violence on ice.
Yeah. It's violence on ice. That's what it is. Yeah.
I was like, I'm into it. So anyway, Horseman needs to be a hockey jersey. That's my only request.
I support that. Absolutely. All right, guys. You know what to do. Please share out the replay of the stream. Please hit like on your way out. Please hit up the pre-order solicitation page and consider being a member on our website if you have not done so already. That free shipping is looking mighty nice these days with all the books that we're putting out. So give that your consideration, please. Look forward to a new episode of Control Z here. We'll be recording that sometime this week.
I should co-host one of those again soon.
You should, and you should even more so. You should draw something for one of those again.
That too, yes, you should. Yeah.
I'll do the next one. How's that sound?
Okay. All right. We appreciate you so much, guys. You're the reason we're able to do what we do. You're the reason why we do what we do. So, thank you so much for all of your support. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Monday evening, and I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. But with that being said, until next time,
bye.
God bless and Godspeed.
I'm waving if you're not looking. Goodbye. 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 Goodbye.